This is the making of I'll Just Become a Tree. I've been thinking about what kind of tree would keep me safe. Not necessarily a real tree, just an imagined tree, something that knows how to hold me still when the wind is loud. A tree that I can curl into and feel safe. A place where I can feel a little hidden and maybe a little found as well. I want to feel like I'm being enveloped in something old and great and wise and free and simple and kind. And sometimes making a drawing, making an artwork is the best way to explain myself or to explain how I feel. It's my translation tool, I guess. And I feel like this artwork that I'm working on today has a lot of feelings that are real to me right now and what I wanted to express to you. It's interesting because this is a drawing that I had made in a sketchbook from 2019 to 2020, an older sketchbook. And it's interesting how these little ideas pop into my head at a time, but maybe I'm not ready at that time to make this artwork. And so it sits in my sketchbook until the day that either I remember, it gets pinged in my head, or maybe I am flipping through an old sketchbook for some ideas and I fall upon it and it makes me feel something, important, or it's relevant to me now, and this artwork is ready to be made. This is exactly how I felt with this little drawing. So this is a little feeling that I feel like has been brewing, or to go with the theme of this video of what I'm talking about, the seed was sown many years ago and it's only now, it's been dormant and it's only now starting to bloom. Often in my life, as an artist, as a working artist, full-time person, working solo, this solitary artist life that I have, I curl in sometimes. I really curl in. I feel lots of things. I feel lots of things really sharply. I feel lots of things quite loudly. So I do like to surround myself and my life in softness and quietness as much as I possibly can. It's not always realistic, but I do my best. And I am definitely an inwardsy person. And it's not that I do that as a way of giving up. It's sort of a way of healing, of softening, like letting the bark or the branches or the roots of the tree curl around me in a firm but gentle hug for a while, just for a while. Doesn't have to be for a long time. And then I peek my little head out and I show everyone what I've been drawing, what I've been doing, and what I've been feeling lately. And then I curl back in under my bark again. I've been thinking about these little things. And maybe there are little animals that live with me in and around the tree. Maybe they come and visit me. Maybe I write little letters to them and pat the heads of little mushrooms and twirl the tails of little birds flying by. I also have a lot of ideas. A lot of ideas, like a tree has a lot of leaves, or like a tree has a lot of life, or like a tree has a lot of years. I have a lot of ideas, and sometimes they float around me, they spin around me constantly, and I just don't have enough hands, or I don't have enough time in the day to make everything, or there are other things that keep getting in the way, like everything that everything that it takes to run a business as an artist, as an independent artist. I'm not only an artist, I don't paint all day. I rarely get to draw and paint. The main things that I do are admin, email, creating posts, creating content, doing my taxes, cleaning my studio, organizing files, all of that kind of stuff, everything. Figuring out how to do freelance work, figuring out how to make money, how to pay my rent, how to do this, how to feed myself, how to clean the house, how to find time to walk the dogs or spend time with my partner. All of these things are very heavy, and there's too many of them to fill my backpack, my tiny little backpack. So it's hard when I have so many ideas in making art. Like, there are just a billion things that I want to start, but only a few of those things I get to finish. Sometimes I completely forget every single idea. Sometimes they sit with me for years until I'm ready to create them. It's a lot. That's the reality. I just wanted to share with you that there is a lot in every way. And then sometimes nothing at all. Sometimes there's no ideas. Sometimes there's blankness. And maybe that is when I'm curling in, and when I'm recharging, and when I'm trying to pick out the mites who are biting my legs, you know. Yeah, maybe making art is my self-translation. It's also maybe a form of stimming, I guess. Like, I get obsessed with making stuff, whether that is an artwork or a video or whatever I'm doing. Yeah, finding beautiful flow and beautiful color and repetition and sensory joy of creating is my regulation station, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to keep things exciting when you're an artist working from home by yourself. I tend to do a lot of micro projects, and that's sort of how I stay excited about my work, rather than one big project. I find that if I do big projects or work towards one big thing, I get really bored of it. I get really burnt out. These long challenges are really difficult, so I usually cut them down into like Inktober, for instance. Every October, I like to do this ink challenge, or this daily art challenge, and I discovered over the last few years that I can manage maybe 15 artworks before I get like dead bored about it. So yeah, over the last few years, I've just adapted this little challenge to work with me, because I know I would just get so burnt out and droopy if I do the whole thing, and it's not worth my time or my energy to be droopy and burnt out, and especially showing up for others, for my family, for my house, for my work. So yeah, micro projects, turning things into what works for you and what works for me is like, yeah, one of my big tips, especially if you make art on the internet and you want to post your art on the internet. Do what makes you feel good, and people will slowly start orbiting around you, and that organic community that you build so beautiful and so strong, because they understand you and you understand them, and I love that. I love keeping a sketchbook, and sometimes when I make little drawings, little scribbles, little doodles, little stories, little characters in my sketchbook, feel like maybe I'm speaking a language that I don't really have words for. It's like a translation, and it's not perfect. It's rarely perfect. It's rarely a perfect translation. It's gonna just be a lifetime of figuring out good ways, or the best ways, or interesting ways, or nice ways, or soft ways to tell the world a certain thing about myself, a certain feeling. And I want it to feel real, and I want it to feel authentic and in my own voice. And yeah, I feel like scribbling in my sketchbook is that. And I do love that there are these little nuggets, these little friends of ideas or feelings, journalistic kind of drawings that are dotted through my sketchbook over the years that I can always return to and recreate and bring to life, like I am with this one, because it's the right time to, or because I particularly have a particular feeling or urgency to create the thing, this old idea that is so relevant to me now. And it's rarely planned. I rarely plan anything at all. Choosing colors isn't always planned. Choosing the way things look on the page, the layout, the flow, anything, the mediums, the materials I use, rarely planned. Sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like, I feel like using pencils today, or I feel like using gouache today, and that's sort of where I start. Or I feel like playing with the color green today, and all these sorts of things. Maybe today is a green day. Maybe today is a sleepy green day. Maybe I want the drawing to feel like a quiet place. Maybe I want the drawing to feel like it's alive, and maybe I want colors to zing. And so when I was making this piece, I kind of went into this knowing I wanted to recreate this old sketchbook drawing. And I have been learning a lot more about myself recently and my neurodivergency, and I've been wanting to make an artwork that feels a little bit like that. And I've been feeling a bit burnt out and overworked, and I just want to crawl into a big hill and roll the grass over me and just fall asleep there. Or crawl into a giant tree and pull the leaves over me like they're a giant blanket and just get in there and become a tree. And the artwork just kind of evolved from those wants or needs or desires. I sort of work more from feeling and intuition, and maybe some symbols that I put together in my head over multiple drawings in my sketchbook. After I try and reach in and pull out and create multiple drawings in my sketchbooks to try and reflect that feeling. So yeah, this is definitely an artwork just like that. Very much intuitive, very much unplanned. Even though I drew it years ago and then redrew it again in my sketchbook the other day, it wasn't anything that I really wanted to or intended to make into a final artwork. But the day that I sat down to make an artwork, I was like, that's the one. That's what I'm feeling today. That needs to happen. And this artwork is actually going to be this month's Patreon reward. Anytime within June, you can sign up to the Orange Bird tier on my Patreon, and you'll get a double-sided mini print. On the front you have the artwork, and on the back is just like a little collage of all the sketches I did to get there. And this cute vinyl sticker as well. So I will post those to you in a little envelope with a big kiss. And I am so excited to send these off to you. The biggest tree hugging thank you, love to my patrons. You are beautiful. I would love to live in a tree. I would love to live in this tree. It looks so cozy, it looks so comfy. It's colourful, but it's gentle. It's soft, but it's exciting. I would love to see what other animals will come and live in this tree with me. Hopefully my dogs will come and live with me in this tree. Maybe I'll write them lots of letters and they can come visit me. No, they're going to live with me. They will live with me. I'll write lots of other things, letters. I'll write to the mushrooms. Maybe I'll sing songs and release the songs on the wind. And the wind can travel with my song and share it with you one day. I would love to know if you guys have a favorite tree. There's one tree that I really love from my childhood that used to be at the front yard of my childhood house. I used to climb it all the time, and I don't know what type of tree it was, but it was dark and big and had loads of branches that felt like they twisted around and big roots that would poke out and caused the footpath to sort of crack and bend. I used to love collecting the sap from the tree. I made little toys out of the sticks and the sap and the leaves. I would pick off whatever little fruits it was and throw them at the next door neighbors when we were teasing each other in a playful way. I loved that tree. That was a fun tree. There was many years of play and escaping and just wonder in that tree. And maybe the tree in this artwork is sort of inspired by that tree. It's my comfy tree. It has the similar kind of roots and big floofy leaves and stuff. The little characters in my artwork do often resemble me. Even if they don't resemble me in likeness, they're often me. I feel like all of my artworks, even if it's about a dog or something that's not something that looks like me, is about me. Isn't all artwork kind of about the artist that creates it? I don't usually like to explicitly tell you guys, the viewers, what my artworks mean. I really love to see how other people interpret my artwork and what the story means to them and what contexts you bring to my artwork. I love hearing that sort of stuff. I feel like with this little video you got a good insight into sort of what my thought processes are and what I like to think about when I'm making an artwork, and how me thinking about these things then jumps out of my head and through my hand and onto the paper to make an artwork. What comes out of that. But yeah, I would really love to see or hear how you would maybe interpret this artwork if you saw it somewhere and you didn't hear me say all these things. What would you think about this artwork? What little story would you tell to go with this little piece? So anyway, that's what I drew today. A tree that holds me, a place to be a little hidden and maybe a little found. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Thanks for being here. Okay, tooroo.